Due to an emergency condition, we are operating with a reduced staff, and if you stay on the line, you may experience a delay. You may find it more convenient to call us back at another time for assistance. Okay.
Hi, everybody. Hello. Hello and welcome. I'm Joshua William Gelb, and welcome to the Theater in Quarantine here in my East Village apartment, where so many months ago now, when we first received the stay-at-home orders, I converted the closet behind me into a white box digital performance laboratory. It is Thursday, July 9th, and it is 7 o'clock here in New York City. And thank you all for joining me tonight for the rescheduled performance of Hypochondriac 1, an adaptation of Moliere's The Imaginary Invalid by myself and David McGee. Perhaps you caught a portion of it last week. Perhaps you logged in and found the 9 p.m. show had been canceled. It is true that in the middle of the 7 p.m. performance there was an accident, which unfortunately forced us to postpone. But I assure you that I'm okay, and very excited to present to you our first attempt to serialize a longer piece, which we hope to bring to you in the coming months of this continuing pandemic. Usually we're here every other Thursday, but due to the shuffling of the schedule, we're actually going to be back next week, July 16th, with a new installment of Closet Works, our dance series, which you're going to see once every month, newly presented by the Invisible Dog, with additional support from Mamie Canfer and Justin Nestor. Next week, Katie Rose McLaughlin is going to be here with a couple really exciting pieces, as well as a new piece from our special guest choreographer, Rasha Feather Kelly. I am very excited about this evening, and I hope you'll join us next week to see for yourself. Usually, we collect donations for the artists, but tonight we are collecting on behalf of the NAACP Legal Defense and Education Fund. In the description, you'll find a link to my Fractured Atlas page, where all of our donations will be consolidated and passed on in support of their ongoing fight for racial justice. So give if you can. I want to thank all of the collaborators who worked on this piece. In addition to David McGee, there's Katie Rose McLaughlin, the movement director, Marika Kent, lighting and scenic design, Alex Hawthorn, sound and voiceover, Justin Nestor, video, and a special guest performance by Jessie Shelton. After the performance, stick around. As always, I'll be here with a glass of something to answer any questions you'd like to throw in the comments section. And if you enjoy tonight's performance, please share the link to our 9 o'clock show, which you'll also find in the description below. So let's get started. I'm going to take a brief 1-minute break so I can get into places. The piece is about 20 minutes long, so sit back and enjoy Hypochondriac.
Please listen carefully to the following 3 options before making your selection. If you're calling about a sympathy or funeral order, please press 1. For pharmacy or prescription drug inquiries, press 2. If you have a billing question, please press 2. For questions about mental health, press 4. If you have a corporate account and would like to place an order, please press 4. For all other inquiries, press 5.
If you are calling with questions other than purchasing healthcare coverage options, please press 9.
If you would like to make a change to your order or would like to request a receipt, please press 3.
Sun rises, not many left. Sun sets, not many of those either. Hugs from the people you love. Each one could be the last. Let's be honest, you don't have much time left. Death is closer now than it's ever been. And closer now than it was just a moment ago. And right now, closer yet. pastoral insurance. Shouldn't someone benefit from your untimely demise?
What I like about my doctor's bill is that it's always very polite. Fluidly evacuating the entrails of the good, kind sir. 300 plus copay. Yes, but doctors. It's not all about being polite. You have to be reasonable and not skin the sick. 300 plus copay. I am your humble servant, but you've administered me and all the other holes for less than 2.
Your call is very important to us.
300 plus copay. Plus 2, plus 5 make 10, 10 make 20, plus... From the 24th, a small insinuative remollient clyster to soften, moisten, and refresh the gentleman's bowels.
If you'd like your call to remain important to us, press 1.
What is a clyster?
A clyster is an archaic term for an enema.
What's remollient?
This is a recording.
Because, in the language of the pharmacist, 300 means it only costs you half that, total 2 maybe, yes. Even it being a good detergent clyster composed as a catholicon with rhubarb, rose honey, and other fine essential oils according to the prescription for cleaning, washing the dark and fetid insides of the very good sir. What's catholicon?
Your call is very important to us.
In the same evening, a hepatic julep. I know hepatic. That's having to do with the kidney.
Liver.
A hepatic julep! Composed the finest soporifics to give the gentleman abundant and restful sleep. 30. No complaints about that one. It was a very good sleep. Deep and blessedly dreamless. Full price. I'll pay full price. My dreams these days.
Press 3.
On the 25th, a particularly potent purgative made of the finest senna picked freshly from the fertile fields of the Levant to thoroughly evacuate the bile and the bowels. 4? No, I shall pay 3. The 4th I paid in pride that day. It is necessary, doctor, to remember we are people. We patients are people.
We're sorry, but due to an extremely high call volume, your call is no longer important to us.
Hello?
At this time, all old gold basic members should press 8.
So this month, I've taken 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 doses of medication and had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 enemas. No wonder I feel this way. Last month I had 12 doses of medication and 20 enemas. It's no wonder I don't feel as well this month as I did last. This is ridiculous. I'm not paying for any of this subpar care. I wish to speak with someone about this care. Operator! Operator! Operator!
Dad!
Angela! You never call. I'm on the phone.
Yes, Dad, I called you on the phone.
Not this phone. I'm on this phone, but I'm on the other one too.
Can we talk?
Yes, your call is very important to me.
So...
Wait! I have to toilet.
Angela, there is something I wanted to talk to you about. I think you should get married. Can you hear me? I said I think you should. If you're answering, I can't hear you. I can't hear
Dad.
you. I couldn't hear you. Did anyone pick up the other call?
Dad,
They're both on
Dad,
speakerphone.
can we talk?
Wait. How do I do this? Can you come closer to the thing? Oh, that's better. Angela, don't you think it's time you got married?
Dad.
Death is closer now than it's ever been, and closer now than it just a moment ago. Well, a little birdie told me something, because you never tell me anything at all, that you finally might be ready to with a special someone. Is there someone else there with you?
No. It's no one, Dad. Look, I wanted to talk to you because I have met someone.
Thank you, God! Finally, we're on the same page!
And Bernadette said she...
Who said who'd what?
Bernadette?
I don't know a Bernadette.
Dad, your wife, my stepmom? Your actual current wife. When was the last time she visited you?
Oh, Bernadette, yeah.
She said she'd give you a heads up.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure I've heard everything there is to hear. Tall,
Yeah?
nice, smart,
Very.
honest,
Of course.
speaks a little Latin. I mean, if he's gonna be a doctor, he has to. Clyster, so forth. Remoliant speaks Latin, imagine that.
Who told you all this?
My doctor!
Who knows your doctor?
Why, he's his nephew. Angela, we're talking about the man you're gonna, get hitched to, 'cause you've been single for a long time, right? Don't you think it's time you got married? Death is closer than it's ever. It's just what I think. But my doctor, the Purge one, Dr. Purge, we can call him, has a nephew who is a son of his doctor's brother-in-law. Not a blood nephew, I give you, but Dr. Purge is so close with Dr. Dioranus, and his son is called Thomas Dioranus. Tommy, good old Tommy D. And he's looking for something long-term. And just this morning, Dr. Purge and Dr. Flu, that's the flu doctor, and me, together, talking about you. And tomorrow, this alleged son-in-law or nephew, I forget how they know each other, this tall, nice, honest, shall we say, Remoliant fellow who was introduced to me by his father or uncle. And Angela, are you there?
Yeah, Dad.
Your call is very important to me.
Okay, well,
I'm sick.
no, I don't think you're listening to me, Dad.
I am sick. Angela, is there someone in your house?
Just my piano teacher. I'm taking piano lessons.
As a child, you never expressed any musical interest and or talent.
Thanks, Dad.
The sounds you produced were otherworldly.
Dad.
Don't you think it would be a great relief to have a doctor in the family? It's a good match. She gets it. Dr. Dioranus has only one son, and he's going to inherit everything. And Dr. Purge, he doesn't have a wife, doesn't have kids. He's going to give everything to Thomas, too. Her age, she doesn't have a choice. She has to say yes. Girl's been single her whole life. She doesn't know what she wants. Say what she wants. Doesn't say. Who she chooses, who I choose. She won't do it. Well, I'll insist or I'll send her to a convent. Can you still? Who's gonna stop me? You don't think I have the heart for it, do you? Oh. It's true, I don't have the heart to do it. But I'll do it if I have to. Hello? A convent's still a thing? This is killing me. They'll take 8 doses, 12 enemas, untested enemies, blind clinical trials, boxcar placebos that I know going in are placebos. The water cure method, laying on the hands for the fixing of my soul, clinical blind trials, temporary restraints, medical students' first attempts at procedures they hope one day to do with their eyes closed. They have to start somewhere. Start on me. Start on this heart. Start on these fetid bowels. Kleister after kleister, wash them. Wash them over and over and over. I'll pay for it. I'll pay thousands, 2,000, 20,000 just to repair the wound.
Did you say 20,000?
Yeah?
Thank you for calling Estate Services. Your call is very important to me. How may I be of service?
Hello? Is that a person? Hello?
Hello. You pressed 4 for a personal estate attorney.
I did? Oh, well, that is lucky because my second wife...
Bernadette?
Who? Oh, Bernadette! Yeah, Bernadette's been asking me to speak to an estate attorney to make out a will because...
You're near death.
Yes, I am sick and I could die. And I want to make sure she's taken care of.
100% of the estate to Bernadette.
Well, not everything. Some should go to...
Who?
What's her name?
Your daughter Angela?
Angela! Yeah, that's it.
Well, this is why I'm so glad we're talking. Putting some of your money here, some there, some somewhere else, splitting it all up, it worries me. What could happen? I don't want to use any kind of scare tactics here. I don't want to worry the good sir. But these kind of situations do put me in mind to worry about fraud.
Fraud?
So you're worried too. That's good. That's sensible. That shows a sound mind. Best to act now while you still can. Did you know 70% of financial fraud victims in the U.S. are over the age of 70? And that estate planning fraud upon unsuspecting seniors accounts for 70% of that 70%? 70, 70, 70, sir. By my count, that means upwards of 210% of elder fraud cases are estate planning. It terrifies me to think of that happening. Keeps me up at night. I haven't slept worrying about you and my dear mama, dead these, and I without it's too much to bear. You see, I do this from personal... I talked to Bernadette, and she is terrified for you.
You talked to Bernadette? About this?
Of course. She's the one who told me to talk to you, to make sure you're taken care of, so she's taken care of. She and... what's her name?
Angela!
Right, because she knows the annual cost of elder financial abuse is up to $36.5 billion. $37 billion stolen through rank chicanery. So here you are, sick, hospitalized, tortured by doctors and insurance companies, your brain not what it once was, and here comes young what's-her-name prancing in with the hair and the piano lessons, and Papa this and Mon Père that, with the... And here's a soon-to-be grieving, soon-to-be widow, distraught, who can't even think straight about her imminent loss, and then when those two are distracted and nobody else loves you and you're distracted by all the enemas, here comes along a scummy lawyer who uses tricks designed to frighten and confuse you into doing unspeakably stupid things with your money, shit, if you'll excuse thee. Then Bernadette's in the poorhouse, and Who's-a-What's-it is in a convent, while J. Victor McLawyer Esquire is living in your house, eating all of your cheese, soiling your sheets, playing fetch with your dog. Because of your wrecked old brain, your stupid brain, your unsound mind. Do you see how easily this might happen? It is all too easy if they suspect you might be incompetent. Do you know what day it is? What month? Season?
Why are you asking me these questions? It's Thursday!
It's Tuesday.
No, it's Thursday!
But it isn't. It's always been Tuesday. Better to hear it from me, who cares about you, than to learn it from someone who does not have your best interest at heart. So here's what we're going to do. You're going to give a trusted lawyer power of attorney, and once you do, kick the fucking bucket, or whatever the legal term is, I can then distribute the funds to the widow and the orphan as a gesture of whatever.
Emollients?
Sure.
I don't know.
But I do. Press 5 to grant power of attorney. It's that easy.
Wait! And I have to toilet!
Dad? Dad, can you hear me? I think the call cut out. No, he never leaves the phone without saying goodbye like a dozen times. It's like the last words he'll ever say to me. I can't stand it. I tried, okay? Oh, yeah. He's not losing it. He's sick, okay? And he's my dad. Dad!
Angela!
Yeah, Dad, you cut out.
I couldn't hear you.
But I have to go, okay?
Oh, okay, you be careful.
You too. Okay.
I love you. Goodbye.
I'm gonna go.
Oh, goodbye.
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 I love you.
Goodbye.
Talk soon. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Dad. Bye.
Goodbye.
Thank you for calling.
If you are having a clinical crisis, say crisis or press 1. Otherwise, remain on the line. Are you eligible for Medicare? If yes, press 1. Otherwise, press 2.
Are you or someone in your household 50 years or older? Press 1 for yes, 2 for no. One for yes, 2 for no.
Please listen carefully to the following 3 options before making your selection.
If you're calling about a sympathy or funeral order, please press 1. For pharmacy or prescription drug inquiries, press 2. If you have a billing question, please press 2. For questions about mental health, press 4. If you have a corporate account and would like to place an order, please press 4. For all other inquiries, press 5.
If you are calling with questions other than purchasing healthcare coverage options, please press 9.
If you would like to make a change to your order or would like to request a receipt, please press 3. For everything else.
Hi everyone, hello! Woo! Sorry if it gets a bit noisy in here, but I turned the air conditioner on, because woo, does it get really hot. Hi, thank you all so much. I hope you enjoyed. I'm just going to pop open this Grulsch here, because it's way too hot for anything else. Thank you. I had to take a little minute there and put on some clothing, some underwear, and hang up the hospital gown to dry off. So firstly, I'd love to answer any questions you might have. I know we kind of find ourselves in a bit of a lag here at this moment. But thank you. But first off, I just want to say again, we are raising money for the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. So you can go to the link, you can donate to them. Also, if you're enjoying, please subscribe to the channel. That way it's really easy for you to find me and find everything we're doing here at Theater in Quarantine. Also, again, come check out next week on the 16th. Thanks, John. Nice to see you. Again, on the 16th, we are doing Closet Works. We're back. It's going to be a really exciting evening of short dance pieces. Katie Rose McLaughlin, Raja Feather Kelly. Really exciting lineup. So it's going to be kind of a blast. And then after that, we've got a whole lot of amazing pieces for you, including newly licensed to us legitimately, the premiere of The Seventh Voyage of Egon Tichy, which is created between myself and John Levin and Josh Luxembourg, the Sinking Ship crew, who created A Hunger Artist. So we're going to be here in 3 weeks, I guess, with that. And that's absolutely enormous. And then beyond that, we'll be back with more Closet Works, brought to you by The Invisible Dog. So exciting to have a sponsor. And beyond that, even more. We're going to keep going into the fall somehow or other. I don't know if anyone has any questions. I mean, this was a piece that... this was actually one of the first pieces I ever considered putting into the closet. I think, it kind of struck me one morning. I had already cleaned up the closet and was thinking about messing around in there. And then one day I just woke up and went, yeah, I can put on the gas mask and I'm going to have to do the imaginary invalid. And so it's exciting to finally feel like we've done enough work. It's exciting to see that we've done enough work in terms of getting all of these pieces put together. And this is an extremely complicated piece in order to actually be able to do something like this and actually feel like maybe we'll be going long enough that we will do something, more installments of it. Zachariah Summers. Hey, Zach. This is probably not a question per se, but our children would like to know how you did all that. Well, children, firstly, it's called a dance belt, and it makes you look like you're naked, but you're not. Secondly, I'm very safely, do not try this at home. I am a practiced carpenter. And I very safely and securely bolted that chair to a wall with heavy power tools. So that's something you should not do or encourage children to do or encourage adults to do because, things like televisions can fall on your head. This, just sort of Easter egg, is my hospital admittance bracelet, which I have gaff taped back on. Very safely, Alex. Very safely. Alex Hawthorn, who was the sound designer of the piece and also did all the voiceover work, would sit on Zoom in the middle of rehearsal with clenched teeth, kind of looking absolutely petrified. But truly, the chair is the safest thing in the closet, apparently. Little did we know. So, let's see, what else? There is, I just think this is interesting. As it turns out, I had forgotten this little historical anecdote, but as it turns out, Moliere actually died immediately following a performance of The Imaginary Invalid. It was a piece, it's a slightly lesser Moliere, it's not Tartuffe, it's not the Misanthrope, it's written in verse, and he wrote it actually for himself. And so he played Argon, the hypochondriac, and apparently he was sick, and in the middle of a performance started to collapse, and then finally went home and died. And so there is a sort of hex on the play, and in particular the color green on stage, which he was wearing at the time. And I guess there's something about the play, because not only did we experience some technical difficulties while working on this piece, it also turns out we incidentally thought green would be a really good color for the show. So I do have a sort of greenish hospital gown, the plant is in there, there's a lot of green. So I guess the curse is rather real, as it turns out. So I just have to get through one more performance. As I said, this is a rather complicated piece. It's been it's taken us a really long time to feel secure in doing live spoken dialogue, given the amount of other technical work we're doing. It's one thing to do a Zoom reading. It's one thing to do a Zoom reading when everyone is just at their computer and there's a microphone right there. In general, those platforms are built to sort of synchronize your voice and your mouth, although there's a lot of latency in terms of how everyone is talking to each other. That being said, because I am doing so much, or we're doing so much manipulation, Justin Nestor did all the video design, and Justin's been an insanely, amazing contributor to the Theater in Quarantine, as well as Theater Me Too in general, who really helped me out with the technical end of things. And so it's always exciting when Justin actually comes on and designs one of the pieces. But we're doing so much with this camera and with the video feed. Marika Kent did the set and the lights, and this is our first show with an actual active lighting design. There's so much going on that it's really complicated and difficult to sync up my dialogue. And so that took a lot of troubleshooting, and I'm fairly certain we got pretty close. We're getting there. I know Jessie's dialogue is touch and go, I'm sorry to say, but Jessie, wow, brilliant. Katie Rose has asked, Katie Rose's family has asked, how do you secure the chair to the wall? The answer is toggle bolts. Toggle bolts. I knew that as a metal folding chair, it would probably be really strong in that upper rib, and so I made sure to put the toggle bolts right underneath that. And so that's really holding everything together. Probably the thing I did that made it actually even more secure, although it's hard to see, is I also added bracing on the bottom feet on the wall. But that's it. And it really holds up well. I make sure to tighten it before every performance. Hey, Alex says the sync was great tonight. That's good to hear. So yeah, we are... there's always little risks here. One of the most exciting things about the closet is that it allows us to do things that otherwise we probably would not be allowed to do in any sort of real theater. These are things that you'd have to get so much permission from, particularly if it was not me and was another actor. You'd have to get so much permission. It would be so costly to have a structure that could do this, that it would be extremely prohibitive. And I think that's what's really rewarding. I mean, short of being Robert Lepage, short of being, rest in peace, Cirque du Soleil. Anyway, it's one of the more rewarding things, and one of the things I'm most grateful that I'm able to play with here is that it's small enough that we're able to do things that otherwise would seem a little bit frightening on stage. John, hey, asks, is anyone physically there with you running any tech? No, not at all. There is no one here whatsoever. It is me, 2 computers, 2 cameras, 2 microphones, and 3 lights. And that is all. I'm running it all off of QLab and Isadora. QLab's doing all of the audio and is triggering Isadora to work all the video magic. The little black box up in the closet is my go button. And as you can see, we have queued the show so that it works off of me pushing go. So when I flush the toilet, that is setting off. Actually, I believe the toilet flush is the last cue I actively press. So that sets off the remainder of the show, and then I just have to keep up. And that's sometimes the hardest part, because Dave McGee, the incredible Dave McGee, who wrote this adaptation, who I haven't worked with in such a long time, and it's so wonderful having him back. Dave McGee writes extraordinarily rapid-fire, really dense, really funny language, and it is really exhausting to keep up with, particularly when you've been suspending in midair for a while. David and I and Katie Rose and Jessie actually all worked together many, many years ago on a piece called Party in the USA at, rest in peace, The Incubator. Also, for those of you who know and or care, rest in peace, my Russian bathhouse down the street. Really sad. Everything's starting to close. I guess I'll just have to take baths now. But the toilet flush is the last cue. So true, Scott. So true. Also in the comments, I see Scott Shepard, the playwright from Topside, a couple weeks ago. If you haven't seen it, do check it out. Also some really exciting closet magic in that one. There's also a really good behind-the-scenes video of that one where we show you exactly how that one was put together. This one, I don't know if we need to make a behind-the-scenes of, because it kind of is exactly what it is, which is a little scary. It's really just a bit more of an acrobatic feat than any sleights of the camera. Anyway, let's see. I don't know if there's any other questions or anything else I need to say. Who have I missed? Katie Rose, of course. I mean, I've said your name a bunch of times, but Katie Rose has been kind of extraordinarily game, and I believe we're now calling our artistic associate of the Theater in Quarantine and resident movement director. That is, I believe, the full title. Katie Rose has a title, and I refuse to take a title. So that is true. But we're really excited again for next week. Katie Rose has been so instrumental in really helping put together all of this work, and it's really wonderful to like start to actually program things regularly, and every other performance. So every other 2 weeks, we're going to be doing Closet Works, a sort of dance series that Katie Rose is really going to be the motivating mind behind. I guess a big question I have for anyone out there is if anyone is interested in seeing the remainder of Moliere's The Hypochondriac, or is this just enough? It's really strange thinking of doing pieces like this in installments. Theatrically, I know it's sort of a less common phenomenon, but what's so exciting about putting work online and archiving it on YouTube is that we can is that it becomes accessible. You can easily see part one and then jump in on part two if you want. So it's exciting to think about trying out multiple iterations. I think this would be a three-parter. It's 3 acts minus the ballet. There's a lot of ballet in this play, and yeah, I don't know if you knew that, Katie Rose. Somehow we're gaining viewers, which feels strange to me. But we have the show later. So if you enjoyed the piece, please do send the link out. We have the 9 p.m. show. The link is in the description. Please send out the link and help us bring in a crowd for the next show. I think it's really important to do 2 performances of each piece. I think that's what sort of makes it theater. Otherwise, it just can't be iterative. And I think that's the difference between doing a piece like this sort of pre-recorded versus doing it live, is that we actually do need to rehearse. We actually do need to create this mechanism to function for you live with the highest quality of stream as possible. And it's very complicated, and so we have to be able to do it, and we have to be able to do it more than once, and that's sort of I think it's very essential to the project. So please, if you don't mind sending out a link, please do. What else? I don't know. Bravo. Telling everyone. Thank you, John. That's so sweet. Well, I don't know if anyone has any more questions. I do have to do some work. I don't think, I think my flap stayed intact. I had some difficulty with my gown earlier today during a run. I had to re-sew it all together. I don't want too much butt. I think just the right amount of butt is key for this piece. Otherwise, YouTube may take it down. YouTube allows nudity, but doesn't allow lewd nudity or arousing nudity. So I try to keep things unarousing. And I guess if it stays up, it means my butt is not, I don't know, censorable. But anyway, so now I'm just vamping because I do have to get, we've got about an hour. Oh, thank you, Zach. Zach says it was about the right amount of butt. Julia says more butt, more hypochondriac or more butt? This is a complicated moment. Hey, Aram, hi. Thank you. Would love to see more of this piece. Great. Ludity, David McGee says. Ludity. That's wonderful. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Of course, there is more of the hypochondriac. What happens to Bernadette? Who is Angela dating? Is Argon, we never say his name, is Argon sick? We just call him Dad. Probably worth mentioning that my dad, my parents, my family are all well and lovely, and no one is sick. Everyone's doing quite well. I remember seeing the news stories, though, about the nursing homes at the beginning of the pandemic, and seeing those images of families sitting outside the window of grandparents and parents really hit me hard in both an emotional way, but also sensing the ludicrousness of the entire thing as well, and the sadness of it. And so it seemed like a fun experiment to try and take that sort of image and filter it through a most ludicrous, that's L-E-W-D, I'm trying to riff here, but it's not working, comedy by Moliere, which again, all the butt stuff is really just Moliere. He's actually worse than we are. It's an extremely filthy show, original play. So that is where this piece came from. But it is to say that I love my family dearly, and they're all well. Oh, and watching, and my father's watching. What else? So yeah, Bernadette, Angela. We cut so much, so it's really hard to say. But actually, I think we do pretty much, like, these are all the scenes within the hypochondriac. If there's anything we sort of severely cut, it's the servant character, Toinette, who is majorly instrumental in driving the plot and the action of the play, and we have cut her entirely. Partly the goal being, how do you do a Moliere piece with only one living or fleshed out? No, but like character in the flesh. And so we gutted the thing. We've mashed all of these different characters together, and so in some ways you're seeing, Alex is playing a whole bunch of different characters, doctors and lawyers, all of whom we've just sort of merged into one nightmare of of the modern experience of calling up your healthcare provider hotline. My father says, Katie Rose, please make sure he's not talking about putting us in a nursing home. No, you're fine. My parents operate a bed and breakfast out in Long Island, and they're doing quite well. My mother rides horses, so they're fine. Elena, hello. Oh, it's so good to see you. Thank you so much for tuning in and checking it out. Yeah, we'll keep working on another one. Part 2. I think there's a party. I think we meet Tommy D. That's exciting. Right, David? Tommy D. Tommy Diuranus. Dr. Tommy Diuranus. Maybe intern? Is he going to be a doctor? Or is he a doctor? Maybe it's intern Tommy Diuranus. The puns in the original are worse, so that says a lot. Anyway, thank you all. I have about an hour until I have to be back and doing this one again. So I'm going to call it for now. Good old Tommy D, David. Good old Tommy D. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Thanks again to my collaborators, everyone. David, McGee, playwright. Katie Rose McLaughlin, movement director. Justin Nestor, video designer. Alex Hawthorn, sound designer. Also some voiceover, amazing voiceover work. Marika Kent, lighting design. Jessie Shelton, our special guest performer. Thank you all for being part of it. Thank you all for being part of tonight. Spread the link if you can. And I hope to see you all in the chat at an upcoming Theater in Quarantine, whether at Closet Works next week or in the beyond. So thank you all. Have a really wonderful night. Have a great weekend. And stay safe. Stay well. If you can donate, please do. Thanks again. I'm Joshua William Gelb. This has been Theater in Quarantine. And I'll be here in the closet until this is over. And probably beyond. Thanks.
You.
For questions about mental health, press 4.
If you have a corporate account and would like to place an order, please press 4.
For all other inquiries, press 5.